All right, what's going on, guys? We're here. We're live, brand new Poker Life podcast, and we got one of the first of all time, first kind of roundtable I had in mind. I couldn't have picked three better guests. We got a couple legends in their own right in each part of the world. Today, joined by, of course, longtime president and CEO of the World Poker Tour, Mr. Adam Pliska. My favorite guys was Adam. Good to see you.
Thanks, Joey. Well, being here.
Yeah, we got Brad Owen. You guys know Brad. He's obviously been, came up on YouTube over these past couple of years. Now he's getting hundreds of thousands of views. He's getting meetup games all over the world. They did a meetup game in Texas. I think they got literally 60 tables down there. So I don't know what you guys are putting the meetup games down in Texas, but it's good to see you, Brad.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite guys here in content. And then, of course, we got the legend, Mr. Phil Ivey. Everybody knows Phil Ivey. The guy took down another bracelet this summer. He's got, I think it was like 20 caches. I was going through your Hendon month today. 20 caches. He's still grinding against the Triton Wizards, where we've been wondering who's the American that's going to be defending Europe and in poker, right? Who's going to be the next person in America? And you're still out there fucking battling. So Phil Ivey, the GOAT.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Good to see you, man. How's it going, guys? So let's kind of start off a little bit lighter and just talk about how's it been going for you poker-wise. I mean, what have you guys been up to? Start with you, Phil. Yeah.
I'm still playing tournaments here and there. I mean, I haven't played a tournament in a couple months, but I'm going to go over to the Triton in Monaco. And then you got WPT in December. So, I'm excited for that going forward. I still love to play poker tournaments, cash game when it's presented to me and it makes sense. And, I still love playing poker and just try to, remain out there a little bit.
Yeah, how are you?
As much as I can.
Well, how are you balancing that? Because I know these Triton games are absolutely crazy. We've been seeing they're playing like 500, 1K, 2K. Then you have all these high buy-in events that you can play, which you're kind of been battling against all the wizards. So how are you balancing that? Because you're obviously, you both at a high level.
I mean, I would say like every time I go and play a big event, I'm coming in quite cold. No, I don't play poker in my like downtime. So it's, for me, I find it a little difficult just coming in, not playing. When I was playing, a long time ago or whatever, I was playing every day. So now I'm just kind of just trying to get situated the first, 3, 4, 5 days and then kind of get back into it. But it's just, it's really I find it really difficult for me to actually grind poker. So now it's more of a fun thing.
Take it at your own pace.
Yeah, it's just more of a fun thing. Like I really enjoy playing. I don't play as much as I used to, but I enjoy it when I do sit down and play.
Yeah, I mean, talk about your bracelet this summer. I mean, you had a bunch of deep runs, you had a few final tables, you had many caches. It seemed like you were locked it on another level, and we're seeing the old school people still dominating against these, the new guys, the current guys that have been crushing for a while. You're still up there taking down the bracelet. And I mean, the people were going crazy that day when you won. I don't know if you're following along with the hype online, but talk a little bit about winning that bracelet.
I mean, anytime you win a bracelet, it's nice. It's nice to be back playing again. I took quite a long time off from poker, so it's just now I have a new perspective and mindset. Like I really enjoy playing. Every time I sit down, I'm like having I have a good time when I play. It doesn't feel like work. And winning this bracelet, of course, that's special. Hopefully I win a few more.
Yeah, right. It's awesome. I mean, you still seem like you're locked in more than ever battling. So I guess kind of, going to Brad here. Brad, you've been on a grind. I mean, I've been following your content now for a few years since, we really got to know each other more, and you've just been locked in on the YouTube. You've gone, I mean, this is a meteoric rise. You got hundreds of thousands of people all over the world waiting to watch you play. And now you're really getting into high stakes. You're battling in Bobby's room. You're battling in, I don't know what's it called now. What's it called now? Table.
Legends room.
Legends room. Okay. You're battling Legends room still. I mean, you're kind of like going all over the world playing any games. Like what's been going on with you? It seems like a roller coaster of just nonstop grinding.
Yeah, it's been fun. There's a lot of opportunities with World Poker Tour to go all over. I just came back from Montreal, going to Best Bet Jacksonville coming up, and Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood. And I was more of a cash game player before, and now I've, had some success in tournaments the last couple of years, but still haven't taken down like a major title yet. So winning in WPT is something that's kind of my main focus. And December tends to kind of be my time to shine. Last year, I ran deep in the 50K, which is awesome. I've gotten top 100 in the World Championship both years it's been running, so I'm hoping that this December is similar, and I'll have some shots at some big scores.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's been your passion. When we talked about, what are my goals? What are your goals? What do you want to get done? You've talked about wanting to win a tournament because, like you said, you came up as a cash game player. You kind of, you made it to the highest stakes games, and then you started playing tournaments when you started working more with WPT, and then you're like, wait a second, these are actually pretty fun too to try to win. So then you set that goal, and you actually went really deep that the 1 year for the 10K. So, it is. I think that's what fans love about it. Like when I go on your page, there's 700 comments. They're like, oh, can you get it? It's so crazy the amount of support that comes through with your vlogs. And I think you taking people on this journey with you has been, it's been kind of like groundbreaking for poker in terms of where it's taking content to in 2024.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 8 years now. And I think people have liked and enjoyed watching the progression from me playing 2-5 to 100, 200 games. I got to play a year ago with Ivey and Doyle and Helmuth. Like,
yeah,
that was like,
so cool.
If I could go back and tell my 16-year-old self that I'd be playing with, the Mount Rushmore of poker in like a high stakes game like that, that's going to be televised, I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah. Surreal, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you grew up in the game, you come up watching guys like Ivey on TV, and then you end up, if you do content or you're making content, it's like you end up interacting with all these different people. And what is it like for you to see the new generation of people coming up, making videos or making content, or kind of, I guess, being a part of the poker show, or like the culture, or however you want to classify it?
I mean, I don't really honestly, I don't really watch much poker videos or content.
Mm-hmm.
But it's exciting watching the new players come up and, seeing how they play and how they approach the game. You know what I mean? All the studying that's going on now, and all the, how the game has changed is how the game has evolved. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it really is.
It's kind of interesting because you've been, in poker for so long, and have kind of been through like two sort of poker booms, right? In the early 2000s, and then it seemed like it kind of dips for a while, but I feel like poker's kind of back at its peak, in my opinion.
I think poker's back full. I mean, it's just getting better and better. Yeah. The players are getting better. The way people approach the game, the work ethic of some of these high stakes players is fantastic. Like I would be interested to see, like, if I was in my, I guess you can't go back in time, but if I was in my 20s and was able to dedicate the amount of time that people dedicate now to these softwares, what the differences would be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What you could solve.
It's very, hats off to them for all the work that's been put in.
Yeah, talking about just the growth of poker overall, and that's what I love about having Adam on the show, because you're more, I feel like a lot of the players get the more people talked about, more coverage, but the guys behind the scenes are maybe more important than the people in front of the camera. And you've obviously been here since the inception of the World Poker Tour, and now you're at the forefront of what could be a new era of the poker world in terms of with the new poker site and continued events. And obviously now you're investing more than ever in marketing. You're partnering with a lot more content creators. You're looking at making more content, and I think everyone's overall just getting excited. And it really all starts with the top, with the leadership. And I feel like with the leadership that you've been doing at World Poker Tour, kind of building out that culture over time, building the right people around you. And now this partnership with, like the online poker side is it's going to be crazy to see. Like, what's it like for you to be at the forefront of this and been doing this now for maybe 20 years?
Yeah. So 2 decades. Well, first of all, it has been a collaborative effort, and there's a reason why the players getting the attention, because the players are driving it all. There's nothing for us to have if the players weren't there. And the fact that you can have players like Brad, who have just continued to push the envelope and change how the narrative is done, and Phil, who has been so consistent and is just really solidified in our, to our community, like that, the import of what we have over this period of time, it's incredible. But we have, many people behind the scenes, and there's hundreds of people who worked with the World Poker Tour over the years. But to me, I always say it's like World Poker Tour is a 20-year startup. We're continuing to push, trying to change. Right now, we've talked many times before about the different phases, but I look right now of what's happening in December with the promotion that we're doing right now with WPT Gold, and that's another phase because what you've seen the kind of the pendulum swing and the spotlight of poker go. People would say to me in interviews, when there was the poker boom, I said the poker never stopped having a boom. It's just the spotlight went different place. It was in Asia, it's in Europe, it was in Asia, Latin America started to pick up. And so now to feel like that spotlight coming back here to North America again and giving some opportunities, to me, that is just kind of enveloped our world right now. That's really exciting.
Yeah, can you tell me more about why you decided to go this direction with the new poker offering? Because it really is going to be a potential game changer, because we all know that everybody loves to play poker. People want to play poker. It's just a matter of having a place that they can go to play. And I know for me, when I'm looking to play, I'm not traveling to Triton, like I'm staying in Nevada, so I got my own options. And, some people got Phil's all the time in Asia hanging out, playing all these games. Brad, I'm sure, would love to play with his fans. And most of our fans are all from America, for the most part, even though poker's a worldwide sport. So you guys decided to create a solution for that. What was the motivation behind that?
Yeah. So, if you look at where our strengths are, which is, we have people who trust the World Poker Tour. We've had a history with even sweepstakes poker. For years we were innovators of that. But to be able to tie it into the tour and to make sure that people feel like it's people that they can trust, it's a community that they know, they have a sense that there's a degree of professionalism, and quite frankly, there's just a lot of angst out there about where those opportunities to play in the U.S. And so we feel like that we fit the bill. But I will say, the thing that I think that gives us the biggest strength is that we have taken the approach, which we've taken all along, which is, hey, we're not just going to come out and reveal something to you and say, we have this great thing, this is your solution. We're going to do what we've done historically. We're going to say, let's build this together. And I think, this is what I appreciate about the poker community, is that, sometimes you get recognized for things that you shouldn't get recognized, or you don't get recognized what you should. I think we have been recognized for taking the input of poker players and finding a way to incorporate it. We don't always do it exactly like we want it, but we try. And I think that the players know that, and they trust us with it. And so this is a chance for us to put a big tent, invite people in. Let's go back. Let's build something together. Everybody knows what the resources of the World Poker Tour are, and we're going to do that together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phil, listen, you've been around since one of the first poker sites,
You're motivated to tell you.
I know.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, it's just, I think that's what a lot of people, like I said, you've been going back to the first poker site. You were one of the first ever online poker ambassadors. I can remember with Full Tilt, you were a big part of why people wanted to get better at poker, and people wanted to achieve greatness, and people wanted to get to the high stakes, and people wanted to win bracelets. And then it's gone through this period of time where online has sort of shifted to all these other different places, and there's more apps, and the crypto kind of came in the picture, and you've just seemed like you've adopted more to the live arena, where now you're just like, whatever, I'm just going to crush the live poker arena. So do you still have any interest in the world of online, or like, how do you
well, I have interest in the world of online if I don't have to travel outside the United States to play. Right. So this is perfect for me, right? Like the fact that I'll be able to log into WPT and play from my home.
Mm-hmm.
Legally, right? That's huge. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not going to go travel somewhere to play online poker. You know what I mean? That's really basically like what I would have to do. So that's why I just stopped playing online. But I like to play online. I still, but I just don't. I haven't for a really long time. So this is like literally perfect. What's coming up?
Mm-hmm. What's been your approach? Because I'm sure you get invited to every single game. Everybody wants to play with you, even if they know you're going to crush them. They still, come on, buddy, come in the game. So I'm sure, like, you're like, how do you decide, or how is your sort of approach to play in poker online and live? It's just because online used to be such a big component of the poker world in general, and now it's like really, I feel like it's in America, it's gone, where you have these like live stream shows, you have the Hustler shows, you have Poker Go shows, and then you have the tournament arena, which is more like Triton Poker's over here, and WPT is creating their different style events, Poker Go's creating their different style events. And like online, GT Poker's doing their thing, and they're kind of doing something out there, and they've got one strategy, and as peers, like, people are ready to play poker more than ever. So like, I'm just curious what your personal approach has been to that, approaching that, because you have the opportunity to go anywhere and play anywhere. And like,
my approach to playing poker is, if it feels good to me, then I do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if it feels good, like if I get invited to a home game, if it feels like it makes sense and it feels good to me, then I do it. Same thing with poker tournament series, right? Like the Tritons feel good. You know, WPTs feel good. Like, you know, like if you know, there's only so much time that I have now. You know what I mean? I have a daughter, family. You know, I have other interests. So it just needs to make sense. You know what I mean? Like I can't say yes to everything, but you know, so it just needs to make sense to me.
How do you feel about safety? Because being safe in these games and having to worry about the evolution of technology, and you know, there's online tools that are becoming more of a conversation. Obviously, in live poker, there is an abundance of different ways that something could be going on. So, you know, how do you think about that when you're approaching your games?
Well, most people, I play with people that I know, that I'm comfortable with, right? Like, so I've been around a long time, so I kind of am familiar with
the good people and the bad people.
Yeah, the good people.
I see. Interesting.
People
Yeah.
Pay, not going to pay, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you know, so it's really, I mean, it's
so
kind
experience.
It's just experience, and
right.
like, you know, obviously I've been in games where there's been cheating. I've been in games where there's, you know, shadier situations when I was younger, but I'm not in those situations anymore, because you know, I know what to avoid and what not to now.
Interesting. I mean, what did you do when that happened? Did you go on Twitter and make a thread about it, or did you?
Well, you know, I don't go on social media. You know, I'm not a threat guy. You know, like, I'm not going to go on social media and like blast off. I mean, I'm just not going to do that. I mean, you know, we figure out ways to resolve the situations. You know, like.
Yeah. How do you think that should be? Because this is a popular topic on
how should it be handled if you're cheated?
Yeah. If people are cheating in these games, yeah.
I mean, you know, I have my own views on this that I would rather not discuss.
Yeah, I see what you're
saying. You know, like,
because I see what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, obviously it's unacceptable, right, to cheat somebody. Right? It's like that's unacceptable. So,
it almost feels like the way, you know, poker's gone. It's that, you know, you just never know what's going on in some of these games. It's just so crazy. Because I've been.
I mean, there's so many different ways to cheat nowadays. Like,
right.
Live
that's what I'm saying. That's just so.
Like, I think it's actually with the security.
He's got the glasses on.
Yeah, he could be right now doing something.
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the world has changed. So, like, how are people supposed to think about it these days? You know, that's what a lot of people out there are just wondering.
It's literally telling me the questions you're going to
ask. Yeah. Right. I mean, and then imagine where it goes next, where you have this display, like you said, there's off-market things where you could look at someone and you could just get, okay, well, I'm playing poker, I'm looking at the board, information's going to come on my glasses, or, you know, like my heads-up displays, just like I'm playing online poker where you have a heads-up display. So it's like, man, how as a player, how are you supposed to think about it, approaching this? And like you said, maybe that's the best solution, is just finding people you're comfortable with, finding people that you trust.
Well, I think also with community and anything else, you have to find organizations that you trust. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to go down to the win, and you're not worried. Right? You know, you know, there's an organization you trust. I mean, that's kind of what we're hoping to, is leverage the trust, because you know where we are.
I mean, look how much WPT has put into their security. Yeah. Like, right? Like, it's like, this is like number one for them. Right? So, like you said, like, finding an organization you trust is like,
yeah, I mean,
super important. You know what I mean? The security is obviously always evolving. Right? Always there's different things people try to do to look out for. You have to keep evolving and keep getting better to protect, you know, the customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm going to have I'm going to have Tang on, who's one of the main security people who's going to be they designed this sort of system. Because I got questions. I think a lot of people online, a lot of poker players have the same questions. Is like, what are you going to be doing against this technology? I mean, you know, Pliska, you're running this big event, what are you doing to protect the players from the future exploits of whatever people are doing? This is a big concern. It's more of a topic I see online than ever because you have these scandals where the guy was at the laptop, and now we just had something where, you know, a bunch of people are always reported online for using like a real-time assistance, and now this fans are becoming more woke that, hey, this is something that we really do need to worry about. So
maybe the WPT is to start beheading people that cheat.
I think Alan Keating said the same thing to me.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, maybe don't put that in front of the village.
I'm pretty sure Alan Keating.
Maybe you just go all the way.
I mean, yeah, it's just such a interesting topic. I mean, Adam, how do you think about that? How are you thinking about the evolving with technology? And
this is one of these areas that this is the difference between a professional organization and a non-professional organization. You will never. It's kind of like it's like reinvestment in your business. At a year that you feel like, God, I need to save some money, nobody will know if you didn't maintain, you didn't put the new carpet in or whatever, you probably go to another year. But you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined about spending money for security, because it's not something that if I spend money on security today that you go, oh my God, I felt so much better. You don't know it's better until something goes wrong, and then you go, oh my God, this is a much better thing. So the answer is you just have to align yourself. And I'm not just talking about online with us. I'm talking about casinos. I'm talking about anybody, any organization. You have to align with people who are going to be professional enough, to be disciplined enough, to put dollars aside and say that this is going to be important.
yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't really seen that from a lot of sites. We've seen that from some sites over time, but not that many sites. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the promise that, and now the new companies are coming up and they're saying we're going to be more strict with security because now people have realized technology and AI and everything has evolved, and the sites, the operators got to evolve with it, and the marketing message behind the security has to evolve with it too. So, I mean, Brad, you've got all these fans, you've got these people coming to your meetup games and wanting to play poker. So, how are you feeling about being able to be a part of something like this and be able to actually create these online games for your fans and events for your fans? And
yeah, being able to play with fans from all over the country is obviously huge. Such a big portion of my audience is from the U.S., and I haven't been able to connect with people from, a lot of those states all over. So doing online meetup games is a great way to connect with them. And then there's a lot of people who are just brand new to the game and want to learn how to play poker, but don't have a casino near them. So, there's going to be opportunities for them to play small stakes, improve their game, and, eventually just move up the stakes.
yeah, I mean, it's exciting because people kind of come in through all these different communities these days, and all these YouTubers have such big communities now. The views are higher than ever. There's all these 21-year-old kids that, I don't know, I'm trying to watch them all. Like it's a new era of poker. So I think if people just want to be able to play together with their favorite person, like they want to play with their favorite vlogger, they want to play with Ivey, they want to play with Dan Negreanu, right? If Dan Negreanu shows for the home game, fans are gonna lose their mind. Like that's what a poker fan wants, is to play with their favorite person. So I mean, that's kind of what your kind of thesis is behind, I think, a lot of your community events and bringing people together and be able to create that in the live arena, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing I think is exciting about this, as you think about it, it's not just about your interaction online and which you'll have that experience at any time that you want, but we're going to have more qualifiers, more people in the live events, right? There is a stream. We've had a dearth of this in the U.S. for so long, of just a stream of people who are winning or being put into U.S. events. This is about a healthy ecology. And if we want to, I think that's the brilliant thing that, Brad is such a conduit to what you could be, but also people who are experimenting and going, they're looking at the most important thing that we have in poker, which is, where do you want to put your mental real estate? And the first question, the competitor that we have, our competitors in the World Series, our competitor is not, GT, our competitor is the real estate in the heads of the poker players. They could say, I could do this or I could do something else. So when you have a system where people can play, they're reminded they can play, and then you have new people being funneled into, if you look at the $5 million free roll, think of how many people are going to be playing for $1 million. Somebody's going to walk away with $1 million who might be their first event. Might be their first live event. I mean, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see in North America. That's what we want to see again. We want to feel like it's 2006.
I mean, yeah. Imagine, like, I mean, that's got to be a dream, right? Like, if you're a poker player and your first event, you could take home $1 million. That's incredible. The first poker tournament I played, first place was like $375. You know what I mean? Really, it's like a $5 buy-in, you know, or whatever it was, you know, at the Tropicana in Atlantic City, and first was like $375. And now you're new to poker or whatever, right? You win the seat, and the first event you play in, you can win $1 million. I mean, how incredible is that?
You know, it's pretty. I mean, I never really seen anything like it before. You know, I was telling Adam before, I don't remember sites offering this. I mean, it's not something I remember. So I think poker players we would love that. We would love to be able to have experiences like that. I'm sure everywhere we go around the world, we want to be given things, and everybody wants, if I'm thinking about less fees and more prizes. So I want to pay less and I want to get way more.
They're gonna be a little jaded though. Like, you know, if your first event is for you to win $1 million, I mean, where do you go from there? I mean,
theoretically, a person could go. It could be their first event or early time in their career. Get in. Not only they might not win $1 million, they might win one of the 100 seats into the championship. They could win multiple millions of dollars. I mean, it is crazy the stories that can go on. But you know, in all seriousness, how does that happen? It happens by creating a sustainable business model that people can go, oh, okay, that works. And if that works, then the attention comes back to North America, and we're going to have these fun things, and we're going to be able to have investment, and we're going to have different kind of shows and different kind of iterations, and we're going to feel like it was again.
Mm-hmm. You're saying it builds on itself. So as you do more of these, like you did the Voyage, you did the 10K event, now this is the third time for the 10K event. So these kind of compound from your experience, and then they kind of build into something bigger and bigger that can...
100%. I mean, because, look, you don't have unlimited resources. You have to find a way that sustains itself. But if we now have an avenue that sustains itself, that can promote the ecology of poker because people can play online, and then they're being pushed over to, you know, the WPT Championship or WPT events and all of this kind of stuff, it's just good all the way around, not for just WPT. It's just good for poker in general.
For poker, yeah. I mean, what do you see at these events, Brad, that you're doing with your meetup games? And you're like spending a lot of time with the fans. I don't know how you do it, but you're like every day you're at a different event. It seems like you're at the lodge 7 days a week sometimes. Like, you're always in the streets. Like, what do you see, and what are people saying, and what's the community feel for
the $5 million
just free roll in general on playing poker? Like, it seems like people are more hyped up than ever from my vantage point.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to credit a lot of the content creators for kind of creating a resurgence in poker. You know, the main event has been getting 10,000 entries a year the last like 2 years, and I think people are just more excited than ever to play, and I think a lot of that is like from the COVID years. People were looking for things to do and were watching streamers or YouTubers playing poker, and they thought, oh, maybe I could do that. So there's a lot of new young players that are playing now, and I feel like for a long time that wasn't the case. I felt it was kind of stagnant, where like I was like the youngest person to really be taking poker seriously. So there weren't really a lot of like 35-year-olds or like 30-year-olds playing poker for a living. Whereas now there's a lot of like 24-year-olds that are coming up that are hyped up on poker like I was. So that's something that's pretty exciting for me to see.
Phil, what are you seeing over in Triton? Because I've seen some young, I've been watching some of the streams, and now I'm seeing names I've never seen before. They look younger than ever. They all got a scarf on, it seems like. And you're still there battling. I'm like, dude, Ivey's the go. He's still battling the 23-year-old guy he's been on the solver for 10 years in his room. You're still out there playing this guy and winning. I'm like, what's going on?
I feel like there's not that many people that I grew up watching that have still been able to compete at a high level. It seems like it's you and Granu and Seidel and maybe a handful of others.
But Antonius.
Yeah. But what's your kind of take on that?
What's my take on that? I don't know. I'm fortunate to still be able to compete, right? Like, still be able to win.
Yeah, but to compete at a high level against the guys who are putting in all the hours studying, like you alluded to earlier, and you're still.
I mean, studying matters, of course. It matters a lot, like and stuff like that. But there are other things that matter at a poker table, also, right? There's a number of other things that really matter, and I don't want to go into exact details, but like, there are other little intangibles that, matter. Also, like, if a guy is well studied, right, and you're playing against him, I'm watching intently, like, okay, this is what he does here. This is what he does. The computer probably says this, that, and whatever, right? So even though I'm not as well studied as them, I understand what they're doing in different situations, and then I start to implement that into my different strategies. Does that make sense? So like, I'm watching whoever the better player, okay, they say this guy is like great or whatever, okay, I'm going to pay attention to what he's doing, right? Why is he great? What is he doing differently? Okay, he's playing this way. He's playing slightly different from this guy. This guy is also well studied, right? So what is he doing? How does he see it? Okay, this guy's doing this, right? So now I'm just putting all these different things in there and just trying to implement it into what I do. You know what I mean? And put what I do in there, what I think I do naturally well, and add some things from each player, and try to come up with a formula that still wins. Because I don't have time to grind the solvers. I mean, not saying I couldn't. Maybe one day I will. But I think what I'm doing right now is working, and this is what I'm going to kind of stay with.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wonder, is Phil Ivey using the solver? Is he playing with the programs? Is he building a custom bet sizing strategy for any and all situations? They all want to know about that. No comment.
Am I grinding the solvers? No, I'm not grinding the solvers. But I have nothing against grinding the solvers.
Well, most people have like an analyst these days. They have a few analysts. The analyst will grind the solver, and then they'll work with you as the player, and the analyst will sort of give you their version of how they might see you play or anything like that.
I can say that I am going to grind the solvers at some point. I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to take a deep dive and just, win. I mean, I don't do anything like halfway. So it's like, if I'm doing it, I'm going to go all the way. It's going to be like a 6-hour a day thing. Like, I already know, like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't want to
You're being careful.
Huh?
You're being careful. Sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, you spend so much time in a day and stuff like that, and I have other interests, and it's like, it seems pretty tedious, right?
It seems like you're absorbing it and implementing it just through what you're seeing from the Jason Koons and those types of guys.
Yeah, definitely Jason and like all these other players or whatever. And also I speak with Jason, right? Like, I'll ask him about a hand, I ask other players about a hand, you know what I mean? And the nice thing about the top poker players is these days, they're honest and they legitimately will answer you. Back when I was playing, like if you ask Doyle or Chip or somebody about a poker hand, forget it. Forget the answer you'll get. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, nothing against those guys, and rest in peace. But like, the old school players are not they don't have your, it was kind of like everybody for themselves type deal when I came up, right? Like, I want to beat you out of your money, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to beat you out of your money. And it's not going to include me talking poker strategy with you. So for so long, I think what hurt me is that I never discussed poker strategy with anyone, because at one point, I think people were so far behind in poker that it wasn't beneficial to me to discuss poker strategy with them. You know what I mean? So I just got in a habit of not really speaking with anybody, and just being like separate from my peers, and so I had to like recently just kind of start opening up and like making new relationships and being open to like, hanging out with poker players and discussing strategy, and you know what I mean? Because I felt so separate before from everyone. Besides, Daniel was always my friend, but like I felt pretty separate from like the poker community for like a really long time, and there's some interesting guys out there now.
Jason shared a story on Twitter once where you guys were playing on an app, I guess, several years ago, and the river card came out. He made a big bet as a bluff, and you called him and you said that you couldn't see the river or something, and he swears that you were just trying to get a tell on him.
I was trying to hear. I was trying to hear his voice.
You won? Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that's accurate, that you were trying to get a verbal or some kind of tell on him?
I wanted to hear his voice, yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the people you're talking poker with lately? Besides Jason Koon or?
I mean, a lot of the, I would say, I mean, it's not like in-depth discussions, but, you know, like I'll ask about hands with like anybody randomly at the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and they'll just answer you honestly. And it's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. That was interesting. You know what I mean? Nobody asked me about hands though. So that might be a bad sign.
Asking about hands, they probably think you're not.
Probably like, yeah, well, like, huh?
The last thing you think if you ask Ivey about a hand, he's gonna give you the in-depth strategy.
Nobody, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like none of these young guys are like, hey, how do you play this hand? Never. You know, but I asked them.
Yeah.
So
you want them? You think they should ask you?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, because you can put the hand in the solver, right?
But yeah, the Ivey solver is a different solver, though. You know, you gotta have.
I mean, I have the different reasons for doing different things, but sometimes it's wrong. It's not like I'm always, it's not like I'm always right? You know, like I can say, look, this and that. Oh shit, like, yeah, I really messed up here, you know? And that's okay. You know, like, I mean, I think like poker, you're gonna need to be willing to make mistakes and like to, you know, I'm the type of player that learns from making mistakes. You know, like, oh, okay, that makes sense why you shouldn't do that. But then when they explain it on a technical level, then it really makes even more sense. So,
yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I mean, people always wonder, how does Ivey thinking about poker in 2024? I mean, I see this all the time on Twitter. You're really not on Twitter, huh? You don't go on social media?
I don't even have my Twitter password.
You don't even go.
So I don't even know how to log on.
They love it. You're still like one of the favorite topics. People always love talking about it. They're always talking about your hands. Your hands get posted, and people are, you know, they're still like.
I mean, WPT has been like, you know, pressuring me to do the social media thing for quite some time. And like, you know, like.
What thing that
I mean,
think about?
I'm not against. So I mean, it's just like
it's
it's like such a like social media is like so draining for me. You know what I mean? You go on there and you read stuff and it's like, I just log out. You know, like it's just draining. You know, like I don't know. You know what I mean? I it's not like I have anything against it. It's just, I just find it draining. But I do need to do more social media stuff, and I'm going to try to figure out how to.
I feel like Instagram's your speed because you post like throwbacks.
Yeah, Instagram I like.
Yeah,
Instagram's cool. But even then, like, you know, you could get into like you start going on what do you call it, the shorts or whatever. It's like doom, and the next thing you know, 20 minutes has gone by, right? And you're like,
yeah. How do you deal with that, Brad? Because you're taking all this comments in, you're getting a lot of good feedback. You're getting a lot of, I'm sure, feedback you wouldn't choose to read. And how do you stay so motivated? How are you still working so hard after all these years and grinding so hard on putting up the best quality you can and not being drained? And like, how do you recharge yourself? And how do you?
This guy's got a great temperament here. I mean,
yeah. I mean, what's your secret?
I don't think there's any real secret. It is tough sometimes, especially with the social media, especially if I just got wrecked on some live stream or something like that, where I did something stupid, where I just bluffed off like $40,000 and I have to hear about it from the peanut gallery. But in general, most poker fans are actually like super nice because I am honest. I'm honest. You know, I'm on a 140K downswing right now that I'm coming out of, and I share the good and bad aspects of my life as a professional poker player with people. I think people appreciate that, and you know, they're generally rooting for me. So I find that like re-energizing.
Interesting. So you just share your story even when you're down. People are still bringing you up. You take the positiveness out.
Some people love to like come out of the woodwork when I'm getting crushed, and they're like, "Yeah, Brad sucks." Like they're just waiting. They're just waiting for me to.
But that's all a part of social media, though, right? Like it's like kind of like fun. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I will open up one day. Yeah. You know, just post everything, right? Maybe I'll do a blog.
Yeah. Dude, if you did a vlog, it would crush the internet. The whole poker world would like instantly love that, 100%. Especially because you're such, like you don't really study solid.
Can I give you my thoughts and then you write the blog for me?
100%. That's what I'm hoping to do today, actually. We're going to the Win later.
We've got AI. It's going to take care of it. It's going to put it all out there for you. Don't worry. It knows your password, Phil.
I mean, I'll approve it so to be like, right, I'll be like, okay, yeah, you.
Well, I feel like a lot of athletes got into the blog game where they have a team of people around them that are shooting really good content. They're just going along with them on the events and just having a good time with
just
it.
Anytime Ivey talks about a hand, it's like so interesting. There's that one famous hand where you like 4 or 5 bet on the flop. I forget.
The Peter with a Jackson hand or
yeah.
Cool. Oh my god.
Whatever it was. It's like a paired flop or whatever, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I just knew he wasn't gonna have it because he doesn't play like his strong hands this way. So I just kept clicking it back, basically. Just like hearing your insight about any of those hands is super interesting. Actually, if you made content about all those famous hands that you have played, the one, against Dwan where he bluffed and then he's like, oh yeah, the lighting in my eyes or whatever at the end, all those hands are kind of like so iconic. So to get your insight on those, looking back at it, I think would be super interesting stuff.
I think you've just heard the new WPT special that's coming out, so that we're going to have to do now.
I just gave myself some more work.
You got another more job now. Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts? Because you come from your executive perspective, and now you've seen poker evolve. You've seen Phil grow up. You've seen him go from, really maybe the 2004 version, playing on the World Poker Tour, super young. Now he's still one of the lead ambassadors for the company that you've been the president of for so long, and now you're sort of working with the next generation of talent. You're working with the next generation. You're creating these next version of poker events. I mean,
you want consistency and evolution. That is the success, right? You can have evolution and be changing all the time, but eventually you're going to have a downbeat, and then it can go away. And you want consistency to feel that this means something to people. And so, this table just represents that, right? And hopefully we can keep delivering. But we want to be open to new content. I do think it's great that, what Brad's describing about the insight that people get, is it just because people wanted to see what that life is like, wanted to see what that, what it is. And one of the reasons also that people respond so well when Phil does an interview is like, he's one of the only people who does not think, he's not sitting there thinking about, oh, how is this coming off? How is this? His answer is his answer, and people feel it, and they sense that. And so that kind of engagement, I would love to have more of that. I would love, because it is interesting for people. You know why it's interesting? Because it doesn't matter if you're new or if you're at the top of your game. It's still, it's the psychology, it's human nature, it's sociology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I posted a clip the other day. It's like Ivey, I call it Ivey dropping fire for 4 minutes, and it was like a few clips of you talking like how you think about a hand during it, and like the fans went crazy. I'm like, like literally 15-year-old clips, you in like a Rockets jersey, and the fans were loving it. I'm like, this is like, it's the response to just like it is interesting. You do say that. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be something. You think that's true? What he said about you don't care? Because I feel like you're really thoughtful about everything, and maybe you really do care. So
I don't know. I never really given it much. I never really given it much thought, honestly. Like for example, like the podcast we did, right? I've never watched it. I never read one comment. Right? No, I hear it's great.
Yeah,
I heard it's right. I heard it. You know what I mean? Like, I was, when I left the podcast, I felt good. It was like almost like a therapy session. You know what I mean? So it was like, I thought you were great. Like, you know what I mean? I thought you asked great questions, and I enjoyed myself. You know what I mean? But I've never watched it. I don't know why that is. Like, I don't really.
No, watch it.
I don't really watch much poker. Like very rarely will I watch something unless I'm very curious about a hand. you know.
Why do you think that is? Because a lot of experienced poker players, they end up just not even like watching the shows or watching the hands that they're in, or why do you think that is? Like, why don't, yeah.
I think when you just spending that much time and you are so immersed in the poker world and you spend a lot of time and energy, once you get home and you have some extra spare time, you're not necessarily like trying to go back into like work mode.
I think it has helped me, like, that I don't read comments. I'm not on social media reading this stuff. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I've obviously had some controversies also, right? Like, you know, the baccarat thing and the full tilt thing, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm not online reading anything. So like, people send me stuff and say, hey, buddy, I would prefer you just not to send me these things. You know, like, and I don't read these things because I don't know, I just don't want it in my head. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just better just not to even like read it and just accept things as they are, and, you know, go from there. So I don't know if that.
I think that's true. So much of that stuff is triggering, right? I mean, you go and then suddenly it's not your narrative. It's the narrative of someone who just came out someplace else.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion on something, right? It's like, you know, like, you know, you're not going to make everyone happy, you know, like, you know, like you're, you know, that's the thing about social media. And then people, you know, like, people will say things on social media that they wouldn't dare say if you're like looking them in the eye. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that part, like, is like, oh, whoa, you know?
You've thrown out a few controversial things in your day, Joey, you know? How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with it? Oh, I ruined my mental health for sure. I mean, listen, you know, I ruined my life for years. What are you talking about? I wouldn't never do some of those things again that I talked about, because I get myself with some stories, some controversies where I'm investigating something and people aren't happy about it, right? If you're talking about something that's happening and it's against somebody, then they're going to have an issue with you and they're going to say, you know, I'm going to fucking kill you. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. What am I going to do about that? Okay, well, you know, then so you got to deal with that. And then also I take on a lot of the anger that people have for people. So if I do a story and the story could be designed as a great story, like, great, look how great Brad is, look how great Adam is. Or it could be like, look at this terrible thing that they did, and let's talk about this terrible thing that they did. And then the comments end up being all hate, all negative, and you can feed off that energy as the creator. Like, I fed off that for so long, and it took me down, you know, all these holes. And yeah, it was not good. Yeah. So now when I'm coming back, I took a long time off YouTube, off social media for a while as well. I stopped like trying to be a person who's being talked about. You know, I was like, let me be not talked about. Like, Brad's doing it every day. I'm like, I don't know how he does. Like, I can. But now I'm saying, okay, maybe I'm in a different place in my life. Maybe I can handle that from a mental health standpoint. I have the right people around me, the right supporters around me, the right investors around me who can support me and keep me on track if I'm, you know, losing my mind or I don't want to do it anymore. Because like you said, it's all about consistency and just got to keep doing it. And if you want to do it at a high level, you just got to keep going. So
yeah, it's also okay not to have an opinion. Sometimes where you get that, I mean, I think social media sometimes gets that a position where, you know, as I tell, you know, some people around staff, I was talking to Lynn one day and I said, sometimes it gets in this world where you kind of feel like everybody feels like they're the president and the press corps is downstairs asking, what's your opinion on this? And the answer is, just let it go a day. You know, you don't have to have an opinion on it.
Also, like, you're so highly rewarded for putting the most controversial thing out there on social media, because that's what's going to get the most engagement, whether people agree or disagree with you. You know,
it's almost better if they disagree sometimes too, because that gets your fight. You know, that's how the fans of politics media is it puts these argument up there and let's start battling with each other about this argument.
But that's what's draining about social media, though, to kind of Phil's earlier point.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, I guess we all got a little different ways we view it. I mean, Adam just uses Instagram as like he's living the best life. I'm always following him. He's traveling around the world.
Put my dogs on there.
Dogs, see the ups and downs. So, you know, you're one of my favorite guys to actually follow on Instagram. Because I'm always like, who are the people's lives that they're living from poker world that you can look at and say, you know, they're doing it their way, and everyone's a little different. You know, Ivey's grinding the highest stakes games in Asia and Europe, and he's determined to still be the end boss of poker. And I mean, it's incredible to see, you know, still grinding 20 years. Brad is determined to be one of the biggest creators, right? Who knows what I mean, you're still so young, so who knows what you're going to get into when you decide you want to take a break from this, because then you're going to have You know, you can do powerful thing to be in the position you're in when you have an audience who is going to go to what you provide them. So if you create a service or experience for them, they're going to want to go there. That's like what they want. So they're dreaming about doing sometimes. So
just kind of like documenting my life and experiences has opened up so many doors with WPT and the lodge. So yeah, I'm excited for the future.
You're, you know, I am both of you. Your kids are going to look back and go, look, my dad lived such an interesting life. Like, what a great gift. What a remarkable gift to be able to give your children. Is like, it's not necessarily the particular achievement or whatever. It's like, you know what? I made my life interesting. I made it count. I mean, what a great legacy.
Yeah, that's very well put.
That's something that I do kind of consider when I'm making the videos. Like, what kind of example do I want to be for my son and for my two stepdaughters, and just kind of like the younger generation of poker players in general. And include certain things in there that are going to be fun for me to look back at in 20 years, and hopefully will be fun for my kids to look at one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you share. You get really.
You're not that young, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm 36, almost.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Oh, how old are you now?
I'm 47.
47.
Yeah, you know.
So I should have accomplished.
Hold on
by
a
now.
second. Yeah, no, I'm just messing.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, these are all interesting topics to me. You know, these are all relevant in 2024 with social media, and especially if you got a personality. You know, if you're an ambassador like Phil, you're an ambassador for poker, you're an ambassador for a company. It's like you learning how to manage all that is, you know, a never-ending challenge. It's like, you know, because you seem like we've talked about this a lot before about mental health and about just staying present, staying calm, and like the opposite of calm is maybe sharing yourself with the world. So,
I mean, Negreanu does that for him. He just finds Ivey.
Thank God for James.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. He's still battling every day on social media. I'm like, man, this guy, and he just won the PLO. I mean, listen, the guy, that's admirable. When you're a younger poker player and you're saying like, who are the guys that I can look at and say I want to be like that guy? You know, you look at these guys that are older, winning, crushing it, and I'm getting older now, so I'm saying like, fuck yeah. I mean, this is amazing. Patrick Antonius, the guy is locked in as he's ever been, grinding in the, you know, high stakes games all the time. I see him all the time updating too.
Going back to that Cabo 25K heads up thing, there were all the Dan Smiths and all these superstar wizard online guys, and then it comes down to Patrick Antonius and Ivey. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the epic play that Ivey made against Chris Kruk, where he had the, I don't know, no pair, no draw, but he bet, Kruk raised, Ivey ships it in over him. He folds. We're like, what the hell? And then he goes out and takes it down. We're like, man, this is, you know, that was such a fun event. I mean,
that was fun. You should have more of those. That was great.
Hey, Adam, what do you think about that? Adam, what do you think about another heads up event in Cabo?
It's great. I mean, that was great content. It was good fun.
Yeah.
All of the community, tell us what you want. Tell us, we're going to have people there at the championship, literally just asking. So we're not asking for anyone to go on and do anything right now other than sign up. We want to know what people want. And so it's going to
rate, high security, get paid out, do it forever. That's what people want. You know, can you secure the games? Yes or no? Can you pay people out their money? Yes or no? Can you keep doing that and provide an experience for fans? Yes or no? And that's what it comes down to. And, you know, we've seen other people use strategies where they're bringing in different players. You know, it's not real players. They're just automated accounts. And this is a big story that broke recently, right? The Bot Farms Corporation story. And then about their software providers out there who are providing software to poker arenas that are all automated. And now people are like, okay, well, like, I don't want that. We don't want to, some people don't care. They want to play with bots. Great. Some people don't want that. And they want to know that people are taking this shit seriously. So to me, if you guys can really deliver on that and say, hey, we are doing that, we're going to take a stand and we're going to say these are going to be real, like that's how you succeed in this game. So it's just a question of, can you do that? Can you keep doing that? And if you can keep doing that, then in my opinion, you got a winner, and anyone who can do that is going to win. So poker, people want to play more than ever. You guys see the numbers. Phil's seeing the new blood. You mentioned the new blood earlier. All these new people are coming in. The 21-year-olds are all like, they all seem to love poker these days. They're just looking for places to play with people that sometimes, you know, they hope they can trust you, right? When I was 21, I didn't fucking know anything. I'm like, oh, who knows who can be like, oh, that guy's on TV. He's the man. Then you realize later, like, That's not true at all. You know what I mean? Like, you rely on older people in the community. You rely on the leaders of the community, the people that are helping to build the foundation and build the events and build the ecosystem to provide the experience for you. So, I mean, that's your responsibility. And tall task. I mean, I guess looking forward, what do you got looking forward, Phil? What's on your radar for events, or what's on your radar for anything in the Ivy sphere?
I'm gonna go play the Triton in Monaco. I got invited to a Brazil event, but I'm not. I'm not sure.
Brazil,
I mean, I'm not sure. You know, like I'm interested. I've never been. I'm interested, but you know, maybe it's and then the WPT in December. And after that, I don't know.
No big cash games or anything like that. We saw you playing some cash games for a while, where you'd kind of pop up and you'd be grinding, but we miss you on the cash games. You're gonna be.
I play here and there, you know, like if it makes sense, you know, but it's not really much. There's not really much upcoming, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe WPT got a cash game going on. I'm not sure. Sometimes had those in years past, but Brad, I mean, what's going on with you, man? Where
There's a 5-10 game somewhere today.
There is, the win. So this is gonna be like a little sneak preview of Ivey's blog. We're gonna play some hands. Maybe at the end, hopefully get some insight from Ivey on some.
When is this?
Today.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I gotta mentally prepare. You know, I need to mentally prepare.
Quick Zen session by the pool. Are you
gonna stake me?
Sure.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
All right. All right, fine.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the $5 million free roll, because it is like a huge portion of it is just going to be like general poker fans, right? Playing for $1 million like we talked about. So, you know, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm like looking forward to it, because I think it's going to be kind of the best opportunity to win a major event where you can win $1 million.
Well, you mean unless you got 10K, you're not going to win a major event, you know? So this is your only chance for some people.
It should be a ton of recreational players and just like poker enthusiasts. Is that a word? Yeah. Yeah. Aside from Tony Dunst gave away a golden ticket or golden passport to Dan Smith. So Dan's going to maybe ruin it for everybody.
Aren't they giving them or something?
I'm not sure.
There will be some big prizes being announced.
There is some big. Somebody's gonna get. Okay, I'm not supposed to say anything, but I was told that a couple of WPT guys got drunk last night, and they told me they're gonna give away.
In the most fun place. All right, little parting words, Phil.
Parting words.
Any parting word? Give one piece of advice to the fan. Parting word.
One piece of advice to the fans. Play within your means. You know what I mean? Poker's a fantastic game, but you know, you don't want to play more than your bankroll will allow. You know what I mean? You want it to be an enjoyable experience where you are able to play consistently and not put too much at risk to where it affects your life, right? Like, it's a great hobby to have, and it's fantastic, but you know, I've seen people go too far. So I think that, you know, I think it's super important to play within your means.
Yeah, I think poker's most fun when, you know, you're playing it hopefully as a profitable hobby. With this whole YouTube thing and all the other kind of revenue sources I have, I've gotten to a point where poker's so much more fun because I don't have to rely on poker income solely. Whereas when that was the case at different points, kind of caused me to be a little bit stressed out. But now I can kind of sit back and really enjoy it.
Yeah, but I have people in my family that play poker, not to like, you know, that play poker that don't win, but it's a hobby for them, and they don't, you know, they don't overdo it. You know, it's like shopping, or, you know what I mean? They don't win. Not everybody's gonna win. You know what I mean? But they enjoy it, and they play, and they have a certain amount aside per month, and that's what they play with, and that's their fun. You know, like, I mean, I think there's a lot. I think you know, a lot of people have shopping, and they do a gazillion different things. I think if you just, you know, put you know, a certain amount aside, and it's a, you know what I mean? Maybe you get to where it's a profitable hobby. That's always great, but you know, that doesn't happen for everyone.
Okay, well, I just say that. Well, first of all, I'm serious. To my friends, like, you're insane if you do not sign up for the promotion. I'm not just it's not my style. It's just this is an investment that's going to be amortized over many, many years. It's great, and this is going to be terrific. So you should go to ClubWPT Gold. But other than that, I'd just say, look, we have a duty to make life interesting. You have a duty to make your life interesting. And one of the things that I think poker does so well is it forces us to be around people that are different and to evolve and to find different ways. And it is a great way to make life interesting. So that's my parting words.
Amen. All right, let's go wrap it up. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you think below as well. Stay tuned. More comments coming soon. Appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody, guys, for being on. Phil, as always, great chatting with you. And Brad, as always, Pliska, you the man. See you guys later. Peace out. Let's go.